showtime.
Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling should feel like.
Oh, you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
Mariah May, she said, boom.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
That you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
I never say never about anything.
Yeah.
Raw horse.
Raw horse?
Oh my God.
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
It was Frankie's match.
Awesome.
This podcast is, quite frankly, the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
Today spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
We're
here. We're here.
We're just
We're
stuck
not
in the
hiding.
green room for a second, I guess.
Great. Welcome to Dynamite Download, everyone. Welcome to 2025. Cheers to that. Awesome new look, a slight new look for Dynamite Download for 2025, new intro.
Cheers.
And as we have said before, buckle up because I think we're in for a hell of a ride after what we've gone through for 2024 and what we've already seen kick things off last night. And we're in a hell of a ride. A lot of great things coming up with Dynamite Download, our award show tomorrow. We also have our draft season 5 coming up 1 week from tomorrow. And it's fun, man. I can't wait to talk about last night's show. I just wish I was home. I just got home a little while ago, and I'm so close to Asheville. I totally would have gone last night. And man, was that a kick-ass show or what?
Oh my goodness, incredible! I mean, all the lucky fan. I mean, I hate to say lucky fans in Asheville because I mean of all the floods and whatnot, but what a way to really give back to the fans with such an incredible show. The return of Cope, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, in just a little bit.
I mean, look at this crowd.
But the crowd was phenomenal.
Epic shot.
Packed house. The crowd was fantastic. And I don't know if it's like the acoustics in some places. I don't know if they had the crowd mic'd correctly, but whatever was going on was working because they were so fired up through most of this show. And it was fantastic. The crowd was hot. There were so many great moments. There were a couple of moments that even I didn't think were that great, but the crowd was still into. They were a responsive crowd. Overall, fantastic. Everybody was. It was great to see everything, and a lot of stories advancing, and including the retaliation from a big humiliation that we're going to talk about.
Oh my gosh!
Perhaps
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
One of my favorite new heels.
Oh, top-notch stuff that he's doing. Man, it was excuse me. Coming down from where I was driving back home, I had to pass through Asheville, and we took a little back road because of some traffic, and I took some photos. I mean, it's just still pretty decimated in a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just houses in shambles and crumbles, and just like trees are full of like trash and stuff. So I'll send them to you off air, but it was pretty shocking to see some of that. You know, I've seen some of it over the last few months and stuff, but some of the fresh stuff that's still that people are just, you know, wiped out. Saw some areas where people are sleeping in tents. So it's like, it's real. I mean, the struggle is still real, and it's going to be exactly, Stephen, Asheville strong. So it was a great thing. And if you saw the Axe's post-show promo about how he had TK switch it, and, you know, obviously the snap of his fingers, he's going to do it, of course, because TK gives the people what he wants. I mean, for sure. But it was great show. And before we dive into the show, let's see where we're at, man. I mean, we know you heavy as the head that wears the crown, a 2-time champ over there. We got to get a Dynamite Download championship belt.
Yes.
And show us the final rankings. And yes, before we do that, Stephen, prayers for New Orleans, New York. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So having wrestling be an escape to really feel something and have some fun is more important than ever. So that's great. And that's what we try to do, is as us fans and as us talking to y'all is, keep things positive as well as just have some fun and for an hour or whatever it may be, a couple hours a week. And that's what we enjoy here at Dynamite Download. So a lot of crazy stuff going on, but we're going to keep delivering a nice, awesome, fun, positive environment here at Dynamite Download. But
Yes.
I'm going to be a little sour because I didn't take the crown back from draft season 4.
It was close. It was close. But without further ado, one last time, it's the season 4 intro. Yes, there it is.
I know that's you laughing in that video.
Yeah, my best Vincent Price. Look at this, but look at how close everyone came. Where everybody was at least in the 20s or 30s. If you look at the difference between me and Courtney, 20 points separates first place from last place. That says a lot about how the parity in this particular draft season.
And every season is a learning exercise, and it's really hard. I mean, like, who would have thought how many points you got out of Private Party? They went on a run, and then they kind of been stalemate. Then all of a sudden now FTR is back in action. They're going to be doing a trios match on Collision in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is going to be great. The best intro when Kenny Omega returns. Oh wait, that's Dynamite next week. Shoot, next week Dynamite is, where is it? Oh, not North Carolina. Dang it, we're not going to get the epic North Carolina from Justin Roberts. But every season's a learning curve for sure, and you just that's why I like that we're buying ourselves essentially 3 shows before we draft, because if we would have drafted right away after the pay-per-view, after last night's card, I would have totally drafted different. Like, I'm thinking I got a different mindset for what's in store for our draft moving forward, because man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's in store for us. We got draft season 5 next Friday night, the 10th. Buckle up, everyone. We're going to have that. We'll discuss the rules. We'll discuss the updates for the season 5, and it's going to go through double or nothing. So it's going to be a nice long draft through May. So anything can happen. We'll do our additional +3 about midway through. And I'm excited, man, because I'm going to try to pick OC over for instead of you let him have it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If there's any harbinger of how this year's going to go for a certain citrus fruit, Orange Cassidy got the first L of the new year. And so
that doesn't happen that often.
We could be seeing a change in the workhorse there. I've got some prospects other than Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy was not my number one point earner.
He wasn't.
Actually, Mark Quinn was one of my top earners, just being part of Private Party.
Yeah.
But it was definitely I was lucky to get such an early lead because you guys were catching me. As you can see, Brian was 4 points away. Brent and Steven tied. I think if we went to Revolution, I don't think I would have won. But I'm actually looking forward to shaking things up. I like we're going to get into the new rules coming up, but I think things are going to be real interesting. And I may not pick the same people. I may not make the same picks as I did last time. So I have some different thoughts now.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spoil my management direction that I'm going to go, but I'm excited for season 5. Last night, Fight for the Fallen, a new era of AEW was ushered in. And I got to say, did you watch it on Max last night, or where did you watch your Dynamite?
So we started out on Max.
The mother of all simulcasts.
The mother of all simulcasts. It actually looked great. We were actually thinking this is fantastic. Of course, they also announced that the entire AEW library is going to be available on Max. So you can go back and watch everything all the way back to the first ever AEW thing. So I'm excited about that. However, Deb and I in our watch party, we like to take breaks, sometimes pee breaks, snack breaks, smoke breaks, and whatnot. And what we like to do is we'll pause and let everything buffer so that when picture in picture comes on or the commercials, we can just fast forward.
Right.
The problem with streaming on Max is there's no option to fast forward through commercials. You have to sit through them, even if you're streaming it later, even if you're watching the recap. And that was the big question. Would there be picture in picture on the streaming service? And it's interesting. We noticed that Excalibur no longer said picture in picture.
Right. I did notice that.
He said that there was actually, they actually did not say picture in picture on, they were going to commercial. We're going to go to a commercial break. But on TBS, we were able to pause our DVR and then fast forward through commercials. So it was actually enjoyable there. I mean, granted, we're watching virtually live. I mean, we're like 2 minutes behind, 3 minutes behind live, but it's just that we give ourselves a little slack so we can catch up with each commercial. But yeah, it is a bummer because if there was an option to skip commercials on Max, I mean, you're paying for Max. True. Anyways, we figured why have commercials since you're paying for it. But
yeah, I'm curious.
It is.
As things, maybe there's like a 24-hour window or something, like certain things I've dealt with on other streaming, watching a TV show, like if it's a week old or something, you can fast forward through something. But if it's 24 hours old, you couldn't. Something along those lines. When I would watch it on the app, on TNT or TBS app, like the next day or something, they made you watch like ads when there was like a commercial break, or if you tried to fast forward it, then all of a sudden the ads would kick in. So I wonder if that's going to be the case or not. But anyways, it's a great thing. I like it because, as a Max subscriber and being able to rewatch some stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that because that'll be much easier for me as a fan. But last night, Fight for the Fallen, awesome card, awesome promos, as you touched on earlier, the groundwork that's being laid across the board in so many different levels really felt like the turn of a page show. And as it was, coming off of World's End, everything that's happened there, and the hot ending with the FTR or rated FTR, I really, really enjoyed this show. And I feel like even, we say this a lot, but like looking at what happened last night and then how much of the roster was not even being used, it's like, dang, man, this was a jam-packed, awesome show that you could watch week in and week out with this type of talent. But then it's like, there's so much talent in the back and so many storylines that I'm eager to see. It's just like you almost run out of time. But looking at this card, like, what match do you want to kick things off with tonight?
Well, let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about the Orange Cassidy Hangman Page match really quick. Let's get that out of the way. This was one that I think this is the beginning of setting a lot of different things in motion. Orange Cassidy taking the first L of the year in AEW.
Surprising.
I thought was very surprising. Interesting what they're going to do. It's interesting the angle that they're Hangman being the madman. We saw, of course, Christopher Daniels come out last week or at the pay-per-view and say and tell Okada that I'm not tell Okada that I'm not an EVP anymore, but this guy is Kenny Omega. So when Christopher Daniels comes out here, Hangman going ham on him and going ham on everybody. I think there's going to be some repercussions there. I think they're definitely setting up. I think Orange Cassidy might take a couple weeks off. We might not see him for a little bit, but Hanger, of course, going crazy and out of pocket. I think that's tremendous. One thing I want to say now, because we're going to keep coming back to it, but I just want to say throughout the whole show, I really like both the commentary team and a lot of the different talent, both in backstage promos, pre-recorded promos, and in the ring, kept bringing up the importance of taking the title from Moxley and entering this gauntlet. So we're going to see that a lot. They talked about it here. They talked about it. Of course, Jay White had a great promo. There's a lot of stuff coming up about that. And I like that they're really they're responding to what Jon Moxley's doing now. There's a lot, and there's a lot of big names. It's not like this handful of talent are going after it while all these other people are busy with some other feud. Everybody's gunning for this, and it's big names, former champions like MJF. And I think that, former champions like Hanger. I think that if they put a bunch of big names in the gauntlet, I think this could really be, almost Royal Rumble-esque. If I dare make that comparison.
I love if that's the case. And, we saw little snippets of that. I feel like there's so many people with arrows ready to fire at the back of Moxley because he's got what other people want. And all of a sudden you have people like Jeff Jarrett, MJF, obviously still Christian Cage, and these people calling out Moxley, which is very interesting. Like now more than ever, I feel like his back and Death Rider's back's against the wall big time. And so where do they go from there? Do they bring out the Road Flare for reinforcements to try to fight off all these targets that are against them, or what? Because I feel like there's still so much meat on the bones for the Death Riders, and Moxley losing anytime soon would be kind of shocking. But I love that the former champs and main event kind of guys are calling their shots. Mm-hmm. And what was that last battle royal we had that was just kind of like thrown together, the Dynamite Diamond battle royal, where it was just like, nothing against the wrestlers in general, but just fitting for the scenario just didn't seem right. And so they have a chance to rewrite this. And I love the Casino Gauntlet option, instead of a battle royal. Like I love both. Like the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite gimmick matches ever. I just love the anticipation, but the Casino Gauntlet being able to end at any time. And how the commentator team has said in the past, like, well, there's guys waiting in the wings, and Ospreay has won every single one of these. So also he could be entering that. But if you have those main eventers and sprinkle in maybe a couple surprises or a couple surprise debuts, or this could be a total home run.
I agree. And
just like this match was too.
Just in general about the Casino Gauntlet, I first thought it was kind of lame, but now what's cool about it is it has the pop surprise of a Royal Rumble, but you have the control of kind of a tornado tag style. Anything goes. I mean, the gauntlet they had at All In when Nigel McGuinness showed up. I mean, the stuff like that. I mean, you can have fun with those kind of things. I felt like I agree. I felt like the Diamond Battle Royal, whatever, we knew it was going to either be Adam Cole or Kyle. I mean, it really was pretty obvious.
Sure.
And they kind of changed the rules a little bit. It was kind of weird. But what I love about this particular qualifier match too is you have three different storylines merging, and we're going to talk about what happened to Swerve and why he didn't win this. Swerve really kind of paying for embarrassing somebody, old Trevor. But I also love how we're really putting Jay White in the main event picture. I love that he's really they're kind of putting him now where we were pushing Swerve, where Swerve is still there. I'm not saying Swerve has lost that streak by any means. He's still going to be a future champion. Again, he's going to get his belt back. But I think that this is great that we're starting to really give Jay White his spot among the other champions, among Moxley, among Hanger. He's in the conversation. We're going to talk about another possible winner, and then you and I were going back and forth on text about a twist that you and I were talking about. I was also talking Full Tilt Deb. She actually popped me with a great idea, but with Jay White coming out of this one and going into the Casino Gauntlet, I think we're going to see him shine. Roderick Strong, I mean, I'm trying really hard to be happy and excited about Undisputed back together. I think it's going to take some time. They kind of got there with Roderick Strong and them coming back to try to save Swerve. But I don't know. I think the whole MJF, I'm glad the MJF and Adam Cole feud's over with and they're both moving on. But
it's great promo by MJF.
Tremendous promo. Again, going back to the whole, everybody setting their sights on this, on going after winning the Casino Gauntlet and going after it. But let's go ahead and talk about it. This was Swerve's to lose, but old baldy Trevor showed up.
You are bald.
I don't slam WWE. I think that WWE, particularly NXT, is cooking with such grease and butter. They are cooking in NXT. They're cooking. WWE is doing the type of shows it should have done when AEW started, and it was a lot of people were leaving WWE to watch AEW. However, I love that Ricochet is really getting a chance to shine as a character, to be three-dimensional, not just some flippy do. In fact, if anything, he's kind of he's like the anti Will Ospreay. To go a little nerdy with this, I'm going to make a DC Comics comparison. So, already Full Tilt Deb's like, nerd. But here's the deal. If Will Ospreay is the Green Lantern, Ricochet is Sinestro. And what I mean by that is like he is every bit the athlete, the flippy do guy as Will Ospreay, but he's now where Will Ospreay is white meat babyface. Trevor is such a great heel. Ricochet is such a guest. Where's my toilet paper? That spot at the Hammerstein Ballroom where Swerve embarrassed him with the toilet paper.
Was that the pay-per-view?
Oh, that was the pay-per-view. Sorry.
Yeah.
And embarrassed him with the toilet paper. Yeah, that's right, because the toilet paper started at the Hammerstein.
Yeah, the Stein crowd. Got to give props to them for starting that.
But then this payback here, this psychotic, cocky, heel that Ricochet is, but he's got the athletics to back it up, is such a sight to behold. And it's great to see him truly get some character work and just run with it. And I think he could potentially be one of the breakout heels of 2025. But this was tremendous.
I mean, Ricochet has already pathed his way at being the top heel in AEW right now in such a short amount of time. Absolutely incredible stuff that he's doing, and got to give props to everything that he's done, but the crowd, and we talked about the crowd at Asheville, how hot they were, but the crowd in New York really helped elevate him to that top-notch heel character that he is, and leaning fully in. And man, I'm all here for it. As a resident babyface, I'm all here for this heel, man. I think he's going to work perfect with it, and I'm glad that Swerve kind of segued away from the Hurt Syndicate for now and is going in with this one because it's working so good. And man, I'm excited. I get really excited for when heels get like lethal heat. As a fan, I think it's just as fun to give lethal heat as to give epic pops. Like, Kenny Omega return pop versus a Don Callis boo heat where you can't even speak. Like, both of those are great emotional roller coasters that you can go on as a fan. And Ricochet has given us the heel moments every single week that you just are looking forward to booing him, looking forward to. It's just like, but it's not like a boo because you don't like him. It's a boo because you like love him and his character. Yeah. Like, it's one of those, it's like, there's people that you legit don't like. Mm-hmm. And this is one of those heels. I feel like that we're smart fans, and you got to lean into the booing because we appreciate everything that he's doing as a character.
I thought he was gonna straight up cut Swerve's dreads. I'm sorry, because he had the scissors. I thought he was going there. I thought I sent you the Brutus emoji or animated GIF Brutus Beefcake because I thought he was going to clip it, but he didn't. But wow, great stuff. I like some of the ideas in the chat here. Hurt Syndicate. I think Hurt Syndicate's got their eyes on someone else. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but and not who you expect. But yeah, Ricochet, welcome to one of the top tier heels in wrestling right now.
Yeah. So speaking of Hurt Syndicate, listening to them over the last few weeks and watching them over the last few weeks, like when these guys walk to the ring, like I didn't really have it on paper, but they should be the next tag team champs. We talked about the Murder Machines possibly, but these guys tried to be heels, but I think the crowd is going to force them into being baby faces. They're forced to be liked. I mean, because of just the power and what they could do in the ring. And so with what they did to Caster, and it's easy to boo him now because of the way he's been acting the last few months or whatever. But the Hurt Syndicate, I feel I would love to see as next tag team champs. Because look at these guys. I mean, like, yes, they both can be top singles guys, but I think it would be fun to see them as a tag team and MVP as the manager. The unfortunate thing with the Continental Classic was I do feel like Shelton had I'm going to tread lightly by saying this, very like disappointing outing in the Continental Classic. He didn't have, to me, there wasn't as many memorable matches and moments that I expected. I had high expectations for him to, as we all did, we thought he was going to win. He was definitely one of the favorites for us to win it.
I don't think his points matched his effort. Like you know how you look at, like, he was not, like, he didn't have the same matches as like a mid-tier guy. Like he had matches that he should have won, but he didn't. And for whatever reason, a couple of it was shenanigans. I mean, there were matches where he legit should have won.
Sure.
But I will say this, and a lot of people that liked the Hurt business in WWE, myself included, you're a little sensitive. You can be a little sensitive to how they're treating Shelton, because in WWE, he and Cedric Alexander were kind of dismissive. Like they're almost like they were not. Yeah, I think a great picture, by the way. They were a little bit dismissive compared to Bobby Lashley getting the spotlight. Here, the Hurt Syndicate gets the spotlight. And like you said, they can be a tremendous tag team. I think if you're going to build up the tag team division, which it needs to be built again, especially if we're going to see the Acclaim break up, you got, and the Continental Classic, and I'm in too good a mood for based on last night's Dynamite. I'm in too good a mood about AEW to go on a rant or a hot take. But I just want to say, your Continental Classic was great, except for it took so much away from the tag team and trios division. If you're going to have those belts, you need to really start doing something with it. It sounds like, rated FTR, the trios are going to be doing something with that. But let's have a tag team tournament. Let's have a tag team Continental Classic, and the winners take on Private Party, because you've got Bobby Lat, you've got the Hurt Syndicate, you got the Murder Machines, you've got the Outrunners, you've got MXM Collection. We got to see so many. There's so many. House of Black, for crying out loud. There's so many tag teams out there that just, and to have, you could just have banger after banger. And it just seems like, where again, AEW, which was once noted for how great its tag team division is,
100%.
is now still has great tag teams. We're not doing anything with them. But now that the Continental Classic is over, let's get some tag team action.
Yes, I agree. And we've discussed this a lot on and offline. Shawn Dean and Carly Bravo are definitely a good one. They're fun in Ring of Honor. The two belts right now, trios and tags, are MIA pretty much. And other than next week's title match, but I feel like those are the ones that need the most help in 2025. And it's even with a company with flooded amount of belts, there's still time for all belts to be featured at least every other week. And so that one, I want them to go back to the roots. You know, a couple people were saying online, like, oh, they lit up the crowd. The camera angles are a little different. It felt like kind of OG AEW last night. And that was got me excited too, because it just felt a little different. You know, the new year kicking things off, New Year's Day, you know, hot crowd, getting us excited at home. It felt like I said earlier, turning the page and starting fresh, you know, new year, new me type of thing. And hopefully that is the sign for things to come. And, you know, I thought we were going to see some kind of surprise of like, put the trios titles on the line. So maybe after Rated FTR racks up a few W's, maybe they'll ask to challenge the trios, because those guys, as I said before, would be an absolute incredible trios team. And not only because of just everything they do, period, but because it'll help them in the long run, help protect them in the long run, to have more longevity, as well as just be like the go home, or the feel good moment of the show every single week. And you need that. You know, OC's been doing that. You know, how I feel about him, a little bit stale in my opinion. But to have Rated FTR be that stable, that's your constant every single week, or you know, at least consistently on TV, one of them or both of them or all of them would be huge in my opinion. And I hope for that. You know, let's talk about that main event. You know, there's still a lot to talk about, but since we're on that hot topic,
I do want to go back to the Acclaim though in a little bit, but
yeah, we can circle back since we're kind of
we'll circle back in there, but let's talk about this main event. First of all, of course, again, once again repeating myself about how great the Asheville crowd was, the response from them all. I mean, and now of course he's not Adam Copeland, he's now Cope, where he used to be Edge, now he's Cope. But what a fantastic pop! What a great what a great response to these villains, the Death Riders. And I gotta say, MVP in this match, he doesn't get enough credit, but the Swiss Superman was tremendous again in this match. Claudio was just uppercutting left and right. He was taking bumps, giving bumps out there. You know, Wheeler doing his best fiendish, villain heel character guy, but not nowhere about as threatening as a Chihuahua. Whereas Claudio was just dishing it out. I actually think Claudio looked better than Moxley in the match last night. I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, it's no secret. I mean, we've talked very high of Claudio over the last whatever it may be, couple months, and especially his time to shine in the Continental Classic too. He is just as solid as it gets, and a complete wrestler as it gets. And I like that he has been getting more of his flowers as he deserves. He was the world champion of Ring of Honor for a while. Joining the Death Riders, I think, has really elevated him as well. Mm-hmm. But in that group, Pac aside, who's, sometimes he's not with the group, whatever it may be, travel issues, anything like that.
I was spending holidays on Newcastle upon the Tyne there, laddie.
He needs to be, you need to have that workhorse, and Claudio is a perfect one for that, and he's just incredible. Rated FTR, I love their presentation. I love this group. I mean, yes, okay, whatever. It's like WWE guys. Who cares? I'm so sick of saying ex-WWE guys now trying to save AEW. That's not
all right. Can
like
I say something on that?
Yeah,
Can I say
please.
something on that? Okay. This is that everybody needs to stop with the former WWE, former AEW, former whatever. Everybody came from Ring of Honor. Everybody came from this and that, the other thing. Here's the thing. The FTR that came to AEW was not the revival from WWE, the way they were treated. The Hurt Syndicate is not the Hurt Business, the way they were packaged and treated in WWE. Cody Rhodes is not the Cody Rhodes from AEW, that where he is now. I mean, I guess he kind of is, but he's getting that elevated treatment in WWE. this is not just the same old. They're getting a new start, if you know the Arrested Development license plate, but Cope and FTR are not the same personas. They're a enhanced version of themselves. So a lot of these folks like Malachi Black, a lot of these folks that once were in WWE, they're getting to be these new characters in AEW, and I think it's tremendous. And it would be the same as Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. I mean, are you going to say, "Oh, here comes another cheesehead"?
It's true. That's a good point.
So, anyways, I'm not, I'm taking your side and defending exactly what you're saying. These guys, this trio is magic. They're genuine friends. I mean, they're genuine friends long before they all were together. If you ever hear that interview with Cash, how they talk about Adam and how they were trying to finally team up together. This is a genuine trio that I'm excited for. And what a table turn for the Death Riders. And I'm excited for it. I'm here for it. Great stuff. But you're right. I'm sick of they're former WWE guys. So what? Britt Baker might be going to WWE. We might be getting, I don't know, Kevin Owens. Who knows?
Steen. After last night's debacle there and after last night's awesome main event and all these people throwing their hat into the world title picture, wanting the belt, like originally it just changes. I'm like, these guys gonna, put down the Death Riders, but I feel like this was kind of just like a statement win. Maybe they, and like I said a few minutes ago, like they'll get a couple more wins with trios and stuff, and then they do challenge for the trios belts because they're going to say, where are these belts? Why haven't they been on TV? They need to be represented in AEW. This is AEW. We're the best wrestle, and you're not even defending these belts. Put them on the line right now. So I don't think we're going to see Cope go for the world title yet. I almost don't hope we don't. I would love to see.
There's no hope for Cope.
There's no hope for Cope in the world title yet. I would love to see him or this team get the trios belts, have the other top guys go for the Moxley's belt, and Moxley just continuing to knock down everyone, whether it be fair or not fair. The Death Riders coming to his aid, and then ultimately have someone such as Cope, Omega, or someone like that go for Moxley's title.
I mean, the Cope versus Moxley, we got a taste. We got a taste of it last night when we finally got that Cope and Moxley face off in the ring. The crowd again just went ape nuts about it. It was incredible. But I think we're going to see, like you said, Moxley's got to have some more defenses. Do we pull the trigger of Cope versus Mox at Revolution, or do we go to Dynamite? Do we go to Double or Nothing? I don't know, but I do think that whoever wins the Casino Gauntlet, I think they're going after Mox at Mayhem. Was it
Maximum
Cincinnati?
Carnage?
Yeah, Maximum Carnage. Was it Cincinnati Spaghetti Carnage, whatever, I don't know. But it was it's going to be crazy. And but I have some theories on what they might do with that. But you got to save that Mox versus Cope one-on-one for the title for a huge pay-per-view. And if you're going to do a Revolution, that's great. If you're not, you got to do it for Double or Nothing, and that's going to be insane.
Right. 100%, absolutely agree. Because then you could build for the Cage Cope match if Cage still has that contract. But as I said before, I think it would be absolutely hilarious for Cage to try to cash it in and then lose.
Well, overbooking. Because Full Tilt Deb and I were talking about this, and I think you and I were going back on the private chat. So I think AEW is in a position where they need to pull the trigger. You're going to have all these big names in the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah.
But whoever wins this Casino Gauntlet, they're going to get a title shot at Maximum Carnage against Moxley.
Right.
I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind. Whoever wins this gauntlet's not going to win the title. They're going to get the title shot, but they're probably not going to win. Unlikely that they're going to win. Doesn't mean they won't. Here's what I think they should do. Right. I think you put MJF, put Hangman, Jay White, all these big names, and also put Beast Mortos in this. But shock the world, have Beast Mortos win the Casino Gauntlet, get the title shot, because here's what's going to happen. The fans are going to be behind that. Everybody, this like cheering for, I think that's what's more realistically going to happen is what Steven says here. I think realistically, Jeff Jarrett, I do want to talk about his comment because I could see Slapnuts getting his title shot. I think that would be tremendous. But get someone like, Beast Mortos, and this can work with Jeff Jarrett. And then have Jeff Jarrett win the Casino Gauntlet match, have him get his title shot with Moxley, and then have Christian Cage get involved and try to cash in, and somehow it gets all messed up. But I think there's definitely something here for that. I think you have an opportunity to really push somebody that's not one of the mainstream guys to get a shot at Moxley.
And I think it's a good opportunity for AEW to get some babyface cheering and like push them into the babyface spotlight. So whoever does win that is going to be a big pop. And then when they go against Moxley in his hometown, that's actually, as I say it out loud, it's kind of a hard spot to be in. So if you are a hot babyface or trying to push a babyface, Moxley's gonna do his best to not get cheered in his hometown, but it's inevitable, right? So it kind of puts the babyface in a little tough scenario unless he does one of the typical MJF promos like, "This town, that's why I left this POS town. You all smell like shit," whatever, something. So I don't know if he would I don't know if Moxley would ever do that. He's not known to crap on his towns that he goes to, it being Mr. Team AEW. So either way, I think it'll be a fun, I love the Casino Gauntlet idea and I'm excited for it. It's something new and different and unexpected that you don't know. But I want to circle back to Acclaim stuff because I know before we move any forward, like I saw this photo, it was pretty cool. And I know you've been very high on Bowens, and you think he is going to do awesome as a single star. So tomorrow is our award show, and one of our awards, which I'll show the awards at the end of our show. Like if you join us tomorrow for our award show, we'll pick Dynamite Download, SPD's picks and Mindrunner's picks of certain things. But one of the categories is Breakout Star of 2025 prediction. So many years past, I would pick Wardlow a lot. I picked like Ray Phoenix or something. But anyways, this could definitely be one of those breakout star picks of 2025. I don't know your pick, and I haven't made my 2025 breakout star picks, but Bowens, it sure seems like he's destined for a singles run right now with all the mayhem that's been going on with the Acclaimed. So what is your thoughts on this?
Here's my thoughts. Okay, because the storyline has been compelling. I mean, Max Caster, of course, has been hinting, he's been calling himself the greatest wrestler alive. He's got good heel tendencies. Yes, he's got the rap gimmick that everybody enjoys, but and his behavior online, as well as the way he's been kind of being a troll, being kind of obnoxious. He's really been getting under Anthony Bowen's skin, and they really took it to 11. He got the card from MVP, but what we've noticed, and we saw this with Ricochet, is the Hurt Syndicate is very selective on who they actually bring in. They don't want a joker, or they want to kiss ass. They don't want somebody that's going to be more of a problem than they want somebody that's going to inflict pain. They want somebody reliable. They want somebody loyal. And I think loyalty is huge with MVP and the Hurt Syndicate. And you could see some hints last night. I was watching MVP watch this match. I was watching how he was reacting and what he noticed in this match. And I think what's going to happen is we definitely, of course, first of all, it was pretty much a squash. It didn't have to be, but because Max kept tagging himself in, wouldn't let Anthony get his stuff in, it turned into almost a squash on Max Caster. Well, if you're trying to impress MVP and the Hurt Syndicate, I don't think they walked away really impressed with Max Caster at all. In fact, they saw him as dead weight, a liability, and an ego. But I do think what happened here was MVP was impressed with Anthony Bowens. And I think one of the traits that MVP values the most is loyalty, because Anthony Bowens is not quick to give up the scissor gang here. He's not quick to give up the Acclaimed despite Max Caster. So if you have somebody of Anthony Bowens' talent and ability, and also loyalty, not loyalty, hustle, and respect, but just, the loyalty. But I think that what's going to happen is MVP and the Hurt Syndicate are going to interrupt the Acclaim's breakup. The Acclaimed are going to get in they're going to come to the ring at some point near future. There's going to be a public breakup. Max Caster's going to act like, I don't need you anymore. You're holding me back. Anthony Bowens going to be frustrated. Hurt Syndicate's going to come out, and it's going to seem like they're coming to recruit Max, and they're going to turn on Max, and then MVP is going to recruit Anthony Bowens. Now, he's going to be reluctant at first, but I think it's going to happen when Anthony Bowens realizes that's a group that's a group that he can thrive with. And, Anthony Bowens in a suit. He's going to be dressed to the nines. I can see him being the next member of the Hurt Syndicate, and I think he would fit in tremendously. It will really flesh out. See, Anthony Bowens needs to find out who Anthony Bowens is without the Acclaimed, because Max Caster is going to be Max Caster. Well, let me ask you this. Are the Hurt Syndicate a heel faction necessarily?
I think they are, but the crowd is forcing them into babyface.
They're kind of, I think
still
they're kind of Moxley's
a heel. How many heel groups do you see? And how many babyface groups do you see walking around with suits on? Wearing that suit is a heel part of, I feel like, heel 101. Look what Wardlow always wearing the suit. Obviously now look at like what Ricochet's doing, and then the Hurt Syndicate, like MJF always wearing a suit, with his scarf. So I feel like the suit moniker, other than Cody Rhodes, is your typical heel thing to do. Mm-hmm. Now, I feel like if Bowens did join the Hurt Syndicate, that I feel like the crowd would cheer it, because we love the Hurt Syndicate. And I think it would be, and how often do you have a babyface join a group and then take down, like, gang mentality is a heel thing to do. So if Bowens joined the Hurt Syndicate and then they beat up Caster, you almost feel bad for Caster. It's not like we're going to be cheering a 3-on-1 beatdown.
I don't think it goes that way. I think it's more like Max is going to think they're coming to recruit him. He's going to try to go with them and try to beat up. He thinks they're coming to help gang up on Bowens. They throw him out of the ring like garbage. And then they approach Bowens. They don't attack Bowens. They don't really waste their time with Max Caster. They recruit Bowens. And then Bowens, and that's a whole storyline too. Does Bowens join the Hurt Syndicate? Then he does, but he's the conscious. Like, he does it, like he starts to not approve of the Hurt Syndicate's actions. He could be that one babyface in a heel faction that second guesses what they're doing. Kind of like Will Ospreay with the Callis family. You've got that one guy. You can do it. There's a number of ways, but the reason I push this is, in which, I think is because Anthony Bowens is such a tremendous talent, but he needs to define who he's going to be at without the Acclaimed, because that's where they're heading. That's where the fans are expecting. Max is going to be fine because Max is going to be Max, rapping, being an annoying asshole. That's going to be him, and he can be that character till Kingdom Come, and it's going to be entertaining. But
for sure,
Anthony Bowens is a character, but I think the story is finding himself. And I think just being Anthony Bowens, he's going to get lost in a sea of other singles wrestlers. But you put him with the Hurt Syndicate, it's going to redefine, it's going to give him a different edge that's always been there, but it's going to highlight an edge that he has that needs to be showcased more. And I think, and it doesn't have to be permanent, but I think putting Anthony Bowens with the Hurt Syndicate would be a tremendous upgrade. It would be a tremendous step forward for an Anthony Bowens, possibly TNT title run.
Okay, I like it. And I hope Garcia goes on a open challenge type of TNT title run, because I would like to see him really showcase what he's known for in his pure wrestling, rope to rope. The women's match of the night, one that's been built for a while, which is, I've been enjoying this build. I've been enjoying the vignettes and the return of Julia Hart into the ring. Two former champs in and amongst themselves, TBS and World, going toe to toe, which this could definitely be a marquee match in any pay-per-view with the talent level and names of these two. So I was definitely looking forward to this. I think it should have maybe got more of it, main event spotlight for it. But this just shows, to me, the standout was Jamie. It showed me, while Jamie was a former women's world champ, and how much we got behind her on her rise out of the shadows of DMD. And I do agree with the result of this, because any wrestler returning from an injury, building a feud, returning match, I think they need the momentum right away, no matter what. Yep. Heel or babyface. And so I agree with that. So where do you go from here with this, or both of them? I don't know, but I did enjoy this match. But I guess I had a little bit more expectations out of it. I had a little higher expectations out of it.
Well,
now, you being the resident women's guru in our team, how did you?
Not only that, I actually booked this match. Tony TK got on the phone with me.
Oh yeah, he called you.
Hey, I got a dilemma. I've got two returning superstars. How do I book this match going forward? I've got plans for both of them. What are we going to do? I had a great conversation. We talked, go Jaguars. We talked a lot about different things. Yay, sports. But we had a particular discussion, all the vignettes with Julia Hart being the Princess of the Black Throne, Jamie Hayter. And all right, jokes aside, I literally told Full Tilt Deb before this match started how this was going to end and what's going to happen going forward. And it, to a T, happened exactly what I was going to say. Because you can't have Jamie Hayter just lose clean to Julia Hart. You can't have Julia Hart cheat to win, in a scoundrel way. She has to be it has to be a domination way. Well, what is Julia Hart known for? She's known for the Black Mist. And sure enough, I said, what's going to happen? Julia Hart's going to spray Jamie with the Black Mist and get the 1, 2, 3. Because if you've noticed, Jamie Hayter has been almost overkill with the flowery kind of almost 70s vibe, kind of, hey, babyface, look at me. She's been really pushing that whole thing, which is fine, the peace and love and all that.
Sure.
But her true personality, I mean, she hangs with Darby Allin, Brody King. She's still dating Charlie, the awesome backstage dude. She's in that circle of people. She's actually in Julia Hart style people. What we're going to see, of course, Julia's going to move on from this, but Jamie's about to go under a change in character. We're going to start to now see a darker Jamie Hayter, not necessarily in the style of
think
Rhea
so?
Ripley,
All right.
not necessarily a Rhea Ripley clone, but we're going to start to see a darker more ruthless Jamie Hayter, because I think what's going to happen is now Julia's got, now the poison is in her. And the only person that's really been able to not change who they were because of the mist has been Willow Nightingale, because she's too stinking positive. Her power positivity is too powerful for the mist, not Jamie Hayter. I think we're going to start to, now I'm not saying she's going to turn heel, but I think we're going to start to see a more brutal, more in line, the comparisons between Jamie Hayter and Becky Lynch continue, because, when she came back at All In with the red hair, people thought, was that Becky Lynch? Oh my God.
I thought so too. It was definitely a swerve.
I think we're going to see a more Jamie Hayter that's going to be similar to a combination of Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch as the man. I think we're going to start to see that combo, and I think that's going to be a much more, that's going to be a retooled Jamie Hayter, and she's going to become more dominant. And I think she's going to start to eventually go after Mariah May and the title. Of course, I'm biased. I think she needs to actually go after Thunder Rosa when Thunder Rosa finally gets her title back, but I digest. I will say this though, Jamie, I think the plan is going to be Julia Hart going back after her title from Mercedes Moné.
That makes sense. I mean, that definitely makes sense. And I think it'll be interesting what happens this weekend with Mercedes overseas, if she adds more gold to her shoulders and waist, and then where they go from there. But I think it's the right decision to keep that gold on her. She does so great with Mercedes having that gold. And then I like the booking for her to challenge Monet. It's right there. I mean, whether she beats her or not, that's time will tell. But I want to see Jamie Hayter in the world title picture. I really do. I want her to try to reclaim her gold that she did not rightfully lose, after getting beat up, by the Outcasts and so forth. So, one women's match, we'll see. Collision's got a nice one set up. Collision card is looking good in Charlotte, North Carolina. If I had more time, I'd make the drive over there, but I got a tight schedule next week. But tomorrow, folks, is a very special day. It's a black tie night.
A little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly for sure. It is a black tie night. It is our annual Dynamite Download award show. So we're going to be bringing the confetti. We're going to be bringing the sparkle. We're going to be bringing the champagne. And it is our award show. We're going to be going through some of our stuff, our top things that we have decided. It was a jam-packed year. So it's really hard to pick your top when the year is so packed of awesome feuds. So we narrowed it down to a few categories, and definitely come in the chat giving us your thoughts on who you think it belongs in each category. You could debate us. You could say, no way, that's not, why would you pick that? But here's our categories for the award categories. We got top babyface, heel, female athlete, male athlete, top mic work, top tag team, breakout star of the year, match of the year, and feud of the year. Plus, we're going to predict who's going to be the 2025 breakout star of the year.
Yep.
So it'll be a lot of fun tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow evening. There's no Rampage, so you can come on over to Dynamite Download and watch the 2024 award show.
Moment of silence for Rampage. Pour one out for our homies.
It went out on a good note.
Yes, it did.
John Moxley cut the feed.
Moxley killed Rampage.
That's right. So thank you guys for joining us. Episode 165. We got a jam-packed few weeks. We got, like I said, the award show tomorrow. Next week, Dynamite Download. Again, followed by the draft on Friday, the 10th, Season 5 draft. Have a great night, everyone. Happy New Year. We love seeing you in the chat, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Good night, everybody.